and the small intersection along U.S. Route 76 between Anderson and Clemson, South Carolina, exists what is left of a town called Sandy Springs. By driving past an auto detail shop, one current and one abandoned gas station, one would never expect that a Medal of Honor recipient once lived in this area over 100 years ago. Corporal Freddie Stowers was the first of 2 African Americans to be awarded the Medal of Honor during World War I for his heroic actions in the Champagne-Marne sector in Ardennes, France. Stowers gave his life for his country on September 28, 1918, by taking control of his squad in order to drive off the German forces that occupied Hill 188. Born the grandson of a slave, Stowers worked as a farmhand growing up in the Sandy Springs area. He was married to a woman named Pearl and became the father of his only daughter named Minnie Lee. Stowers' simple day-to-day life in the South was soon to change by the events that unfolded in Europe on July 28, 1914. It wasn't until April of 1917 when World War I finally reached the attention of America in order to intervene in the war. Stowers was drafted and assigned to the 93rd Infantry Colored Division, which composed of all African Americans serving during World War I under the 4th French Army. The division Stowers served was noted for having its blue helmet insignia, which the French dubbed the 93rd the Blue Helmets. Under the 93rd Division, Stowers served under the 371st Infantry Regiment in Company C. In the early hours of September 28, 1918, Stowers' squad and Company C were ordered to attack and take control of Hill 188 from the Germans. Stowers' platoon was met with heavy machine gun and mortar fire in order to slow down their advance. But when the Germans' defense was too weak against Stowers' squad, the Germans waved the white flag in surrender to Stowers' company. As Stowers' squad was advancing over no man's land, the Germans used their surrender as a diversion in order to annihilate Stowers' unit and Company C, and turn their guns on Stowers' company. It wasn't long before half of Company C were killed in the onslaught, leaving Stowers as the only leading rank in his entire squad. Stowers took what was left of his squad and pressed on towards the German trench under heavy fire. Stowers and his men were successful in reaching the first trench line and flanked the German machine gunners, stopping the Germans' onslaught upon his company. Stowers' courage and bravery brought back the moral strength his company needed in order to overtake the last German trench. Stowers' squad pressed on to the next trench, being ever vigilant in their advance. Stowers was then struck by machine gun fire, mortally wounding him. Stowers continued to order his unit to press on without him, which led to Stowers' squad into aiding the capture of Hill 188 with heavy German casualties. Stowers later succumbed to his wounds and died on that blood-stained hill. Corporal Stowers' courage was recognized for his actions on Hill 188 for the Congressional Medal of Honor, and a recommendation was submitted on his behalf. However, the recommendation was never processed, and it seemed that his actions were never recognized. It wasn't until 1991, 73 years later, that President George Bush would honor Stowers with the Medal of Honor for his outstanding bravery that indeed was never forgotten.
I speak of Corporal Freddie Stowers, to whom, posthumously, we present our highest military award for valor, the Medal of Honor. It's an award for bravery and conscience, that compendium we call character.
Stowers' sisters, Georgina Palmer and Mary Bowens, were awarded the medal in his honor. Although Stowers was killed in the line of duty, the memory of his gallant action in France will be remembered throughout history. A statue of Stowers stands proudly in his honor on the campus of Anderson University in Anderson, South Carolina. The Medal of Honor engraved in Stowers' monument shows an inscription that states the word valor. The term valor is not defined by race, gender, or ethnicity, but by the actions of great courage by an individual in the immediate face of danger and ready to protect their fellow comrades on the battlefield as well as their country. Stowers' memory is a testament to what valor really means, and his sacrifice will be a constant reminder for generations to come, as long as his monument stands proudly at Anderson University.